What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the overall data that just came out for Tesla, why tomorrow is going to be another very important day as we have Jerome Powell giving a speech, and his speech may affect Tesla in the markets, and what the chart is suggesting for Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and all these other tickers out there. But before I break into doubles information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit $500 into the account, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. And this offer ends very, very soon in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, I just wanted to mention that this thing's in a very, very interesting trend right now. Tesla has consistently been making lower highs and lower lows, continuing to fall for the last week and a half. And on top of all of this, their deliveries numbers were not necessarily good. Now, did Tesla price in everything? The answer is yes and no. I do believe that much of what happened was priced in, but not everything, because there's still a lot of uncertainty left about what's going to happen to Tesla moving forward. And also, there's a lot of bad news that's going to continue to come out about Tesla that could still affect it very negatively. So you have to be prepared for all of this. I'll be breaking down the charts in a lot more detail for Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, and the others, but I first want to talk about the headlines and the data. So what's happening with all of this? Basically, Tesla's quarterly deliveries declined for the first time in nearly 4 years. This was making all the headlines this morning. And you guys can see right here, this is what the actual numbers look like. I'm going to review these one more time real quick before I break down more stuff about the market. So in case you guys missed my early morning videos, I broke down everything in real time when this all came out. So the Model 3 and Model Y saw about 412,000 cars produced. They tend to be very, very popular as well. Other models saw about 21,000, putting the total production at 433,000 in total, which is not the strongest for Tesla. Deliveries were at about 369,000 for their strongest models, most popular ones, especially the Model Y here in the US. And then other models saw about 17,000 in deliveries, putting the total at 386,810 deliveries, well below expectations, okay? We were expecting 420,000. Other analysts were expecting 430,000. We kept seeing that all over the headlines. And then Troy Teslick was the closest one I saw, who estimated about 409,000, who still didn't really underestimate it enough because he was getting criticized for underestimating it. Instead, he was the closest from what I saw. And if anything, deliveries were still below even his expectations, which is showing a lot of weakness for Tesla. So for Tesla, they're saying the reason why this happened was because of what happened with the conflicts at the Red Sea, which ended up disrupting their supply chains. There's also a lot of attacks that happened at the Giga Berlin, which led to shutdowns, which lasted over a week and a half. And that also slowed down a lot of things for them. So that's why production slowed down and deliveries and all these different things happened. Now, there's a lot of opinions coming out criticizing Elon Musk. People are saying that it has an Elon Musk problem. He's the reason why it's happening. This is just an opinion article, by the way. I'm not trying to say that every headline is saying this, but a lot of them are kind of pointing that direction. So it's very important to note that Musk is getting a lot of blame. But the question is, should we blame Elon Musk? The answer is, to some small extent, you could do so, considering the fact that he has been very political. He has caused a lot of division, at least amongst whether people want to buy Tesla or not. I'm going to be very honest with you about that when it comes to being political. That is the cost of doing so. I do respect his right to have freedom of speech, and I do agree with some of the points he's made in the past, but not everything, of course, and that does have its costs for Tesla. But it's not the main factor in this case, in my opinion. I made a video about this when I gave you guys an Elon Musk update. And the reason for that is because the overall sales in the EV sector have been declining. I showed you guys some charts about that earlier. I also mentioned that the Chinese sales also declined for BYD, for other companies out there. So this is a global thing. It has more to do with macroeconomic factors, more to do with things going on with, some conflicts, the Red Sea and things like that. But the biggest factor has to do with the high interest rates, how they're affecting Tesla right now. And that's very, very important. That's the main reason why we got these declines. I wouldn't throw everything on Elon Musk. Tesla could still sell 500,000 cars a quarter, or even higher than that. With Elon Musk around saying what he says, it's still possible because Tesla has so much potential and their technology is still far ahead of many of their competitors. So once again, guys, now I want to talk about something else, and that is, what is the problem for Tesla with all of this stuff coming out? I want to talk more about Tesla actually in just a minute or a couple of minutes. I want to go over some data now for the markets because we have something else that's going to affect Tesla too. So I'm going to talk about that first and break down more things about this. I want to note that for tomorrow, it's going to be Wednesday, April 3rd. Uh, 15 minutes after the market opens at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Bowman from the Fed giving a speech, and then we have some PMI reports coming out, which is not that significant. What's going to be more significant is going to be this right here. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we have the ISM Services PMI, ISM Services Employment, new orders and prices. Let me note that new orders and prices are the two most important ones because of the fact that they're very forward looking and they're very important for inflationary data. So we'll see what this causes for the markets. Expect some volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then time is going to progress. Data is going to get quiet. Then we have Jerome Powell coming at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's going to be giving a speech, and this could cause a big move in the stock market. This could cause Tesla to bounce more, or it could cause Tesla to get a big rug pull. Same thing with SPY and the QQQ. This is going to be absolutely insane. The last time Jerome Powell spoke, he said that the economy is strong and there's no hurry for the Fed to cut rates. He was also very, very in the middle, trying to be kind of unbiased, at least to some extent, saying that the Fed can't reduce rates too soon, but they also don't want to hold them up for too long. But simultaneously, he was a little bit more on the dovish side, which caused the market to kind of gap up on Monday, push a bit, then come back down. That's why the market got that pop to a new all-time high. I think his words saying the economy is strong was part of the reason why. For the fear and greed index, the market is still quite greedy. We're getting closer to neutral, but not entirely there. We're still kind of on the greed side in terms of momentum. And then two things are shifting. The puts and call positioning is still dropping. We're still seeing puts being close despite the fact that the market's actually falling. People were buying more calls as this was dropping. And now the people who are buying calls are getting kind of hurt as the market has dropped a bit. But we'll see if that lasts. Also for the VIX, we're now well above the daily 50-day moving average. But the problem is, I don't know if this is going to last. Jerome Powell will determine if we keep going up on the VIX, if the market's about to see more downside, big downside, or if the market's about to get a big bounce and the VIX comes down to fill its gap. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. For Tesla, going back, Wells Fargo has once again reiterated that Tesla has an underweight rating, which is not the best of news. We might get some more negative analysts out there, which are some things Tesla hasn't really priced in. If more analysts start saying bad things about Tesla, saying the truth about how demand is slowing down, right, that could also be bad for Tesla stock. I want to make that very simple. Tesla has not priced everything in. The price-risk ratio is down as Tesla is showing some weakness. We have a tendency of being green 48% of the time on Wednesdays, which is not too bad. We also tend to see more volatility around 10 a.m. and also at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And besides that, things are looking very, very interesting for Tesla. I also want to note that Tesla has about 116 million in volume. It actually dropped on very high volume, not looking too good. And other things are changing right here. We saw the short volume going up. We're seeing more shorting on Tesla. Shorts are piling in, and they're already up over $6 billion for the year. They may be up even more. So it's a very, very big shift. So I do have one concern for Tesla I want to talk about before I break down the charts. Tesla's numbers are not looking too good in terms of deliveries, all right? But the question is, what is next now? What's going to happen to Tesla's guidance? What's going to happen to their numbers? What's happening with their advertising plans? We don't have clarity just yet, and that's a little bit of a concern for me for Tesla. Tesla has not been able to come out and kind of like give us as much transparent information about what's going to happen forward, at least for the really, really immediate term. We have to wait until like earnings to get more information, which could take about 2 to 3 weeks from now. So with this period, it's kind of like leading to more uncertainty. That could be a little negative for Tesla, especially if the market has some downwards pressure, and also because of the fact that other things may affect Tesla, such as like new pieces of news, more analysts coming out downgrading Tesla, saying Tesla's a sell, for example. So we're more likely to get things like that that could negatively affect Tesla. So make sure you guys are open-minded for all of that. So I just want to warn you to be careful with Tesla. Who knows what's going to happen? We need more clarity. And, Tesla could implement different strategies to try to get their sales back up. One strategy that I was thinking of was if they're going to now spend money on advertising, if they have a very, very good mascot or a very, very good person to represent them, a very like popular celebrity, that could be very beneficial for them. It's very difficult during times like this when politics tends to get involved with Elon Musk, but who knows, guys? I mean, that's just another idea that I had. Like if they had a well-known artist, a well-known singer who's a very, very famous that buys a Tesla and they start advertising for it, that could be very helpful. All sorts of different things could be used to appeal to different investors, more buyers, but Tesla has to really work on the marketing, in my opinion, and really try to improve from this. So I want more clarity for Tesla. I want to see what they're going to do to improve. I want to see what they're projecting for guidance and how things are looking. So make sure you're prepared for all of this, and we'll see how things go moving forward. But so far, not really the best of news, and the share price is still looking kind of bearish on the overall trend. So what's going to happen tomorrow to Tesla? Well, honestly, guys, it's going to depend on the news, of course. Don't forget the news is a very, very big factor for Tesla. But right now, Tesla's getting tighter and tighter, and a big move is coming. So I think that the overall market might actually attempt to kind of rebound a little bit. We might see a little rebound coming. So this could actually help Tesla try to push back up to about 168 or so, and possibly 169 to the 20 EMA. And then once all the services data comes out right here, right, we have all this data coming out, this might cause somewhat of a move. We'll see if Tesla kind of declines or not. It might just trade sideways in the range for some time. And then Jerome Powell is going to be giving his speech. If Powell causes a big pump, Tesla could actually try to balance and get close to this imbalance again, get back to 170 plus. If Powell gives us a big rug pull, Tesla could actually kind of like pop and then drop again, and then start dropping all the way back down to 160. Now, let me note, even if Jerome Powell causes a bounce on Tesla, a small bounce in the markets, that does not mean that Tesla is super bullish, is going to break out. That does not mean that, because we're still on a big decline. And as long as Tesla is still on a downtrend, this is going to perpetuate. So even if Tesla does get a little bounce thanks to Powell, we come back into like the 170s, we could still be on a much bigger bearish trend. That does not necessarily make Tesla primed to just go to new all-time highs instantly. So always remember that, guys. That's what I basically see for it. So for tomorrow, I'm seeing a little bit of sideways price action, maybe a little pop that could be coming to Tesla. Watch resistance at 167.8, then watch 169. For support, watch 165. If we lose this, we could be coming down to 162 at the exact levels we kind of bounced off of today. I think that Tesla could rebound just a little bit. So we might see a little attempt for it to do so. And then it also depends on the news and such. Jerome Powell then afterwards will cause a big move. He could cause Tesla to fall all the way down to 165 or below that, or he could cause Tesla to run back up to like 170 or a little bit higher. We're just going to be waiting to see what Powell causes. So I think that's going to be very impactful for the markets, but that's what I'm seeing for now. On SPY, I see the same thing essentially. When you look at SPY, it looks to me like it's trying to rebound just a little bit because we saw a big change in order flow. Also, the 0.382 retracement happens to be very close to our 520 area. So I'm starting to think that we might actually make an attempt to get back to 520 or so. If we break through that, we could also, excuse me, I apologize, guys. Sorry about that. I also want to note that we have a support right here around, this is 521. This is previous support becoming resistance. We could even retest that if we break past 521, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But I think that we might rebound a little bit. So make sure you watch resistance at 520 to 521. We have support at 518, 516.5, and 515, by the way. But I think we might rebound a bit, trade sideways depending on the data, get some kind of reaction, and then Jerome Powell will determine if SPY starts to launch back up to about maybe 524, or if we get a big rug pull and start sinking all the way down to 515. That will depend on Jerome Powell. For the QQQ, I'm seeing some life as well. This could attempt to retest 442. And also, just like SPY, the previous support becoming resistance is around 443.25. So I see a potential move up to this resistance that could be coming to the 443.25 area if we break past 442. And I'm not sure if we're going to break through this or not. We might actually hit this, maybe reject a little bit, depending on the data that comes out. And then Jerome Powell will determine if we get a big launch back up towards 445, or if we get a big rug pull all the way down into the 430s. That is going to be very, very dependent on what Jerome Powell says. Now, the overall trend on the QQQ is a bit more in favor of the bears. However, don't forget about that, because even if we do get some kind of push thanks to Powell, we could still establish a lower high and continue to sink. And this has been declining for the last couple of weeks, if anything. If you guys look at this, it's been on a bit of a downtrend, so it's still looking more bearish. Powell could cause a little pump and then we could still dump anyways. It does not really change the overall trend so far. So just wanted to clarify that. Right now, the chart looks like it could rebound a bit in the morning, reacts to whatever data comes out, and then Jerome Powell will determine if we get another pop or drop. Even if we pop a little bit, it does not mean we're on a very, very big uptrend. It could just be a small pop in a bigger downtrend. For Nvda, I'm a bit concerned because we have this head and shoulders like structure. So this kind of suggests that even if we get a pump thanks to Powell, we could still ultimately come down again later on. So the trend is still bearish on Nvidia. If you look at this head and shoulders and this fact that for the last week and a half, we've been declining on Nvidia too. So we are in the range right here at 908 as resistance and 892 as support. Tomorrow, we might try to rebound a bit, trade sideways. Then Jerome Powell will determine if we get one more push to 920 or not, or if we get a big rug pull down to 885. Even if we get a little push thanks to Powell, we could still be bearish on the chart. Don't forget about that, guys. You always want to zoom out and look at this big head and shoulders. We could pop all the way back up to 910, 920, and still decline and get a rejection, come back down. So be prepared for that. We'll see what Jerome Powell causes. Apple looks to me like it's going to try to rebound a little bit because we love to test this white trend line over and over again. I think that it's going to come up to try to test this trend line, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. If Powell causes a big bounce, look for a move to about 170.9. If we get a rug pull, we're going to be coming back down. So watch for that very carefully. With that being said, guys, I went over the majority of the tickers I typically go over. I want to make this video only like a couple minutes longer since it's kind of getting late. So I'm going to be very quick with the last stocks out there I'm going to analyze. I'm going to be kind of fast, so just try to bear with me. So for the 4-hour time frame for Palantir, we look like we're going to try to rebound a bit. Watch 22.7 as resistance. We might push higher to 23.32. And then Jerome Powell will either determine if we push all the way up to 24 or if we get a big rug pull back down. But look for a little rebound, sideways price action, and a big reaction after that. Supermicro looks a little bit more bearish in my opinion. We had this high here. We came down, made a lower high. Watch resistance at 1,020. Watch support at 980. My guts tells me it could pop a bit and then eventually starts to decline. The share price looks a bit more bearish on the chart. So if it loses 980, watch for 950. It looks like it could drop a bit more, so it's not looking the best. Rivian looks a bit more bearish because we have a head and shoulders like structure. We have a left shoulder here, we have a head up here, and we have a right shoulder forming. Could rebound a little bit, retest, 10.6 or so, and then eventually come back down, in my opinion, later on, and get closer to about 10.25 or 10. For SoFi, we're looking a little bit more bearish. We're on a bit of a downtrend right here, but we have to watch to see if this is forming a flag. We've been in this range for a very, very long time, going back and forth, a very small range. 7.2 tends to be our support, and we have resistance around the 7.5 area. This does look like it might rebound a bit, retest our 50 EMA at 7.33, then reject again. But watch and see what Jerome Powell causes after the little bounce. For AMD, we're looking a little bit more bearish, especially considering that, it's on a slight downtrend, but we haven't officially lost our support. We're still kind of stuck in this range. So it's kind of struggling right now, kind of favoring bears a little bit more, but watch support at 177.5, watch resistance at 183. Whichever way it breaks will determine the bigger move. It's been on a overall bigger downtrend, but we'll see if we get a bounce or not, depending on which way we break. So if it breaks 183, we're bullish. If we lose 177, we're bearish. As of right now, we're kind of in the middle, but the trend is a little bit weaker on the chart. For ARM, we're looking a bit more bearish. Going to be looking for a test of 23 flat. The 23s could be coming. Could pop a bit, then eventually come back down. And we'll see if Jerome Powell gives us a big bounce or not, but that's going to be very, very key. Coinbase is looking a bit more bearish to me. I see a head and shoulders like structure. Will we push a little bit to fill the gap around 250 and start sinking down, or are we about to sink from here? The trend is still looking a bit more bearish on Coinbase. For Amazon's on an uptrend. Watch 181 as resistance. Watch 178 as support. It's been going back and forth and back and forth. We could be looking for a push for 181 tomorrow, and we'll see if this thing continues to break out or not. Might pop a bit, then trade sideways and see what Jerome Powell causes. Will he launch this all the way up to past, I would say 183 plus, or are we about to see a big rug pull thanks to Powell back down to about 175? It all depends on Powell, so we'll just have to wait and see. Meta showing some strength, might test 500. We'll see if it rejects off 500 or not. If it breaks past that, it could push even higher. Jerome Powell will determine what's going to happen after that too. It might push a little bit, and then Jerome Powell will help this thing either push up to about 510 or get a big rug pull from 500 all the way back down to 485. So watch and see. For Microsoft, we're kind of stuck right now in the middle. We have support at 420. We have resistance at 422.5. If we break 422.5, look for a bigger push. If we lose 420, we turn bearish. We're kind of stuck for now, so just give it some time. For Google, we're on a very, very strong uptrend. We've been making higher highs and higher lows. It could be testing 157.5. The trend is still bullish on Google. For the VIX, I'm not sure what this is going to do, in my opinion, guys. It depends on Jerome Powell. We're going to be watching to see if we're truly in a big breakout on the VIX. Is the VIX going to keep pushing up to 16 plus? Or if that happens, right, Jerome Powell is going to cause a rug pull if we see the VIX start pushing up higher. The rug pull for the markets would lead to the VIX going higher. But if the market doesn't get rug pull, if Jerome Powell pumps the market up, the VIX could also come down to fill its gap down here. So I'm not sure if the VIX will end up coming down to fill this gap and then bounce, or if the VIX is going to launch higher. It all depends on Jerome Powell. Could go either way. And then the dollar index has gone rejected off 105, but watch support at 104.7. If we bounce off this and start pushing higher, this would be bearish for the stock market. If we lose 104.7, start sinking back down to 104.4, that would be a little bit more bullish for the market. So we're kind of stuck right now. Overall, we'll have to watch and see which way we break. But with that being said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. So as far as Tesla goes, whatever news comes out tomorrow will determine how this thing ends up moving. There is some potential for this to try to rebound just a bit, but then Jerome Powell will have a much bigger effect on whether or not that's a sustainable move or not. All right, so get ready for some high volatility. Tesla may pop a little bit tomorrow morning, as long as there's no very, very bad news. Look for an attempt to try to push with the market, and then wait and see what Jerome Powell causes. He's going to be the big determiner of whether or not we get a big bounce. So wait and see how it goes, guys. And I just want to thank you all for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow morning when more data comes out. Thank you for listening. Tesla to the moon. The long term for Tesla is still very bright. So the short term is not looking the best with this data. And we'll see what Tesla gives us when it comes to clarity and such. We'll see how Tesla does with their projections, their guidance, and things like that. And we'll just be very, very patient from now as very, very responsible traders and investors. All right. Nothing else is financial advice. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and peace out.